You guys see the title. Should Jason Kidd want to coach the New York Knicks? That's the title. Should Jason Kidd want to coach the New York Knicks? I'm going to say flat out, no. No. No, he should not want to coach the New York Knicks. According to the media out here, I don't know, this little heads up for those who don't have access to New York media. What's being said out here is that the New York Knicks will be asking the Dallas Mavericks for permission to speak to Jason Kidd about the coaching position that they have open. Let's dive into that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive into that. That's kind of like saying you're asking another man, can I talk to your wife? For what? Just want to see if she want to be with me. How do the New York Knicks call Dallas and ask them, can they have permission to talk to their coach about leaving them and coming to us? How does that work, you guys? Explain that to me, New Yorkers. How does that work? It's called breach of contract. And I'm quite sure whatever's left on Jason Kidd contract, if something like that was to happen, pretty much they'd be done. So the arrogance in New York is at another level, ladies and gentlemen. The arrogance in New York City is at another level. And listen, I'm born and raised in New York. I'm from Harlem. But the arrogance of New York City is at another level. I mean, let's do this. Contrary to whether you're a Knicks fan or you're not a Knicks fan, whatever it is, this is a losing organization. It's not a winning organization. Despite the fact your guys will like to make it seem like that. It's the Mecca of basketball, Madison Square Garden, the greatest arena in the world. According to who? You guys like to put things on steroids. This is the media, New York media. They just put this stuff on steroids. This is the greatest organization. What are you talking about? And let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when he started to talk about New York Knicks and how much they sell out and things of that nature, let's be crystal clear. If you don't know, New York sell out a lot because in New York City, there's a lot of corporations. And these corporations on GP, they buy season tickets. There's a lot of celebrities that live in New York City. GP, they buy season tickets. I mean, and they buy these tickets even if the team stinks. They get them because, like, let's say the team stinks. Then it'd be a shift in New York basketball. And when I say a shift, it turns into people go to the game just to see the opposing team play. So that's the shift that we're talking about. But traditionally, since I've been watching basketball, the Knicks have been a losing organization. I've never witnessed the New York Knicks win a championship. Let's be crystal clear. I've never witnessed this organization win a championship. So the question I ask is, where does all this arrogance come from? Why should Jason Kidd want to leave Dallas, a place that has no state tax, to come play for to come coach for the New York Knicks? I need New York Knicks fans to jump in the comments and explain this to me. Because there's a bunch of propaganda and a bunch of hype that's about nothing at all. You guys went from 2010 to 2020, you had about 8 different coaches. 8 different coaches. So that tells you guys don't value a coach. The organization doesn't build nothing. And you know, me personally, why I take it so personal, let me explain to you guys why I take it so personal. I take it so personal because I have a son that's trying to play basketball. And thank God he's not a Knicks fan. The reason why I say thank God he's not a Knicks fan is because the New York Knicks is a poor example of what to be like. And what that means? That means this. That means that the way the organization operates, if something is not going right, what do? They break it up. They move on. Ladies and gentlemen, is this how you raise your kids? Or do you raise your kids to stick it out? How do you raise your kids? Because the way the New York Knicks operate and the way this organization operates, they operate under the pretenses that when something is not going right, you quit. You just move on. You break it up. You start all over. Is that the marksmanship of a championship? No. Is this how we raise our kids? Or do we teach our kids that, hey, learn how to deal with adversity? This is why I said the New York Knicks is a poor example to follow. Soon as something don't go right, first the finger pointing, then the unnecessary changes. And this is why I said this is horrible. So I don't understand why Jason Kidd, and not saying he do, but I'm just saying I don't understand why he would be interested in coaching that team. I don't see why no, let's say, reputable coach that's already had head coaching positions, unless they feel like I just can't get another head coaching position, will even take that job. So I don't understand why this media in this city as a whole is so arrogant from a standpoint to think that it's a privilege to coach the New York Knicks. It's not no damn privilege. It's no job security there. How's it a privilege when you're talking about coaching a job, taking a job where there is no job security? Jason Kidd got fired by the Milwaukee Bucks 2018. 2018, Jason Kidd got fired. If the Knicks wanted him, why didn't they get him then? The man was out of job for 3 years. 2018, he didn't get that job to Milwaukee to 2021. Why would I want to go coach for a team like that? I was out there 3 years without a job. Now I go to Dallas. I make it to the championship. What was that, last year? Now the New York media is talking about they want to talk to me. They want permission to talk to me. That's outrageous. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's really arrogant of New York to even say, we're going to talk to your employer about you leaving them to come play for us. That's called arrogance, as if it's some type of privilege to come play for this organization. The only stability they have had in the last 15 years was Tom Thibodeau. He coached there 5 years. Out of the 5 years, he got the Knicks to the playoffs in 4. Last year, they made it to the second round. This year, they made it to the third round. It won't be no next year because he's gone. That was the only stability. But from 2010 to 2020, what happened? The organization had 8 different coaches. Who wants to be part of that? Please put in the comments. Who wants to be part of that? Because I know damn well I don't want to be part of no organization that changes coaches like people change their underwears very frequently. And like I said, you know, the city, and I'm born and raised here. So I have the right to say this, to say what I say. I'm born and raised in New York City. And New York City fans are not going to like what I'm saying. New York Knicks fans, they're not going to like what I'm saying. But it is what it is. I'm here to tell the truth. I am here to tell the truth. It's no privilege playing for the New York Knicks. Let's be crystal clear. It's not a privileged job. It's a bunch of hype for nothing. That's all it is. It's a bunch of hype. You're not the Lakers. You're not Boston Celtics. You're not San Antonio. You guys got 2 championships, God knows when. What, the 60s and the early 70s? And then you have the audacity to come across like it's a privilege to play or even coach the New York Knicks? That is disrespectful to the fullest. It's disrespectful to the fullest. And if let's say Dallas does grant Jason Kidd the right to play, to talk to them, right? Jason Kidd, you better not take that job. You better not take that job, because you'll be out of coaching and you just may not ever get another coaching job after that. I wouldn't even accept the phone call if I was you. Like I said, they had 3 years to hire you if that's what they wanted to do. What are they gonna do? They're gonna wait to see you get a little bit success? Robert said Kidd is pondering heavy. I don't know about that, R. I just don't know about that. Because if Kidd is pondering that, Kidd is a fool. Why? There's no job security. The only way, if I was Jason Kidd, I would take that job, is if I wanted to get paid without working. And what do I mean by that? Those NBA contracts are guaranteed. They guarantee to the point where if they were to sign Kidd to a 3-year deal, and let's say they fired him after 1 or 2, they still have to give him the rest of the money. So if you want to just get paid for not working, kind of like, what's that guy named? Marty Williams? Marty Williams was getting paid from Phoenix and Detroit as we speak. That man ain't got to do nothing but go to the mailbox. Well, we all know ain't no mailbox money. Ain't no money coming out of mailbox. But you get my point. And if you want to be that, then you take that Knicks job. Because I don't see the perks. The media's terrible. The fan base is unrealistic. I don't see the perks. Somebody please tell me in the comments, what is the perks of coaching the New York Knicks? Please tell me, what is the perks of coaching the New York Knicks? Help me out with that. The media is a bunch of liars. That's the first thing. The fan base, they love you as long as you're winning. And as soon as you lose, they turn on you. They sat there and they talked about Cat like a dog. The man averaged 24 and 12 against Indiana. 24 and 12. And they sat there and they talked about the man like a dog. What about Bronson? What about those other guards? That's what I want to know. Someone talk about that. Because we were talking about not playing defense. Halliburton had an excellent season. Newsmith, Nimrod. These guards was killing the Knicks. It's the only time Cat had problems in that series defensively when he had to guard Siakam. Siakam was a faster player. But somebody like Turner, what did he do in that series against the Knicks? Nothing. And Cat was killing Turner. So I don't understand what game this media and this fan base was watching. And you're using Cat as the scapegoat. You even got this man naming trade rumors, talking about trading for Kevin Durant. You don't want Durant. I'm telling y'all right now, you don't want Kevin Durant. I call Kevin Durant a diva with a jump shot. That's all Kevin Durant is. A diva with a jump shot. He's not going to play D. He's not going to rebound. You don't want him. Hold on, let me respond to Knicks. Knicks need a mastermind type coach. That Kidd and Luka trade ain't help Kidd's situation. You know what? In the short term, you are right, R. In the long term, Now they're about to get Cooper Flag next month. It's gonna work out a lot better. It's gonna work out a lot better. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another thing. Who would I rather coach? Cooper Flag is slated to possibly be one of those one in a lifetime or one of those generational talents. They're looking at him as like a Wemby, those in that category. Knicks don't have no talent like that over there. And as much as you guys like to say or think that Brunson is a superstar, I'm gonna tell you guys now, he got to do what he's doing for a number of years. You can't do that for 1 or 2 years and we're gonna sit there and call you a superstar and you ain't won nothing. I'm telling you that right now. And a lot of guys jumped on my videos, jumped down my throat, jumped on my comments. Bronson is a superstar. Bronson is a superstar. Hey, man, Bronson been in the league, what, 7 years? He ain't started scoring 20 plus until he got to the Knicks. What's that, 3 years? The man just finally made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you talking about a superstar? Where? How? Wow. He's not the top defender. He's not going to get you a bunch of assists. And he's just the leading scorer for the Knicks. That don't make him a superstar. I mean, come on, guys. We got to be realistic, Knicks fans. We got to be realistic. Because I need the Knicks fans to get on board with being realistic, so that way you guys can start checking this New York media. Because the New York media is the main reason why the New York Knicks don't sign free agents. I mean, big free agents. I'm not talking about no damn Jason Hart. I'm talking about top free agents. Y'all don't get the top free agents. Why? Because the media is horrible. The media will assassinate you as soon as you start losing. This is why y'all don't get top free agents. So if I can get the New York Knicks fans on board, just from a perspective of being realistic, if I can do that, then we can go out to this media and we can make them be more accountable. It's just that simple. Because the media in New York is horrible. That's why nobody wants to come here. Nobody wants to get bashed. I know we talk about basketball, but let's talk about baseball for a second, right? I remember what's his name? Kevin Brown, I think his name's Kevin Brown, the pitcher. They had the man on the back of the Daily News called the man Kevin Clown because he wasn't pitching well. This media is horrible. And people don't want to put up with that. And let's not go into the rest of the city, the perks or the disadvantages of the rest of the city. Let's not get into that. Let's not talk about parking. Let's not talk about the high cost of living. Let's not talk about how populated the city is. Let's not talk about those things. I don't even talk about those things. I want to stick with basketball. The organization, the New York organization, is unstable. There's no stability there whatsoever. I'm a coach. I've been there 5 years. 4 of the 5, I made it to the playoffs. This year, we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I get fired. And then the president, Leon Rose, he gets on the air and say, we fired him because we didn't meet expectation. So you're telling me that at the beginning of the season, this organization said we're winning a championship. That's what you guys are telling me. Because technically, the moves that New York made was made to beat the Boston Celtics. That's it. And you did that. So if you start talking about expectation, I think expectation was met. Because all you put the team together was to beat the Boston Celtics. The best players on the Boston Celtics are their wings, right? That's Tatum, that's Brown. So you went and got OG. You had OG already. So you gave OG, re-up with him with $200 million. And then you went and got Bridges. So now you went and got 2 defensive-minded players that you felt can contain these guys. Then when you got Cat, you knew that Joe was going to have advantage at the center position. So mission is accomplished. You kicked Boston ASS. Mission accomplished. However, you just didn't match up that well against the Pacers. Pistons got 5, 6 dudes that can put that ball in the hole. And you just didn't do that well. So then you fire your coach because of that. Whatever happened to saying we're going to take the rest of this season to figure out how we can get better. Because I'm going to tell you what the real problem was. The real problem was you had 6 guys. You went with 6 guys. For the most part, you went with Cat, OG, Bridges, Bronson, who I'm missing? Jason Hart, and Mitchell Robinson. 6 guys. That's what you went with. The other guys, they got in, didn't get in. They was uncertain about their minutes. So now, if I'm New York, I'm running it back with those 6 guys, but then I'm also saying to myself, we need to strengthen the bench up, just from a level of development. And that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Please stop talking about bringing people in all the time. What about taking the guys that you have and developing them? You guys got all the money in the world. And y'all can't develop nobody? You guys can't develop nobody? It's always about, we got to trade for Giannis. We got to trade for this one. We got to trade. It's always that. When do you say, hey, man, we got to take the guys that's on the bench and build these guys up? So that way, when they come in the game, they're ready to compete. Whatever happened to that? It's always about chasing somebody. But for you to get somebody good, you got to give somebody up. So it's like you got Cat, but you had to give up, Randall, right? You had to give him up. So that's how it goes. You can't get better if you're trying to get a good player and you giving up another good player. So now we talking about, we need Giannis. Okay, let's say you give up this, you give up that, you give up this to get Giannis. What happens if Giannis get hurt in the playoffs? So it goes, I tell you what happened. The same thing. The cycle repeats itself over and over again. So instead of us constantly talking about getting these great players, how about taking some of these guys on the bench and trying to make them better? They're not in the NBA for no reason. They're NBA players. That's why they're there, because they're NBA players. But whatever happened to a person saying, listen, we need to take some of these guys that's on the bench. We need to build up our bench. And then we run it back. Anybody ever thought of that? It's always about running after the big name. Not even knowing whether or not the big name's going to fit in with your organization or not. Anybody cares about that? Because it don't seem that way. And then with these big name players come big money. Now you get into the salary cap. You get into a situation where you come in a situation where it's like, yo, we got all this money on our cap. This guy gets hurt, and we can't even maneuver now. Can't bring nobody else in. It doesn't make sense. And shame on the NBA organizations, not just the Knicks, shame on all the NBA organizations that don't take time to develop their players. Shame on them. Because I think the days of just chasing a big name guy where you got to get this guy $200 million, that's coming to an end, bro. Look at the 2 teams that's in the championship right now. Look at them, especially OKC. There's no big names. When Halliburton got to Indiana, the team was horrible. He helped turn that team into a championship contender. When Siakam left Toronto, he was all right, but he wasn't Kawhi Leonard. The team just got better. They developed. And that's what the best teams are doing. That's what the best teams are doing. They're just getting better. They're not just name chasing. That's it. They're not just name chasing. Name chasing is played out in NBA organizations. Name chasing is played out. Stop this running after the big names. Stop it. We don't want that no more. We want to see you develop some of this talent here. And with that, I'm out. Please, if you're going to do anything, please go to sportssavvymagazine.com. Please check out sportssavvymagazine.com. Got a lot of nice articles up there. That you guys can check out. And it's free. See, now even the magazine game is changing. Because some of these sites, they want you to pay to read their material. How dare they? But Sports Savvy Magazine is free. All articles are free. You could go there. You could click an article. You could read it. Can't leave no comments. Sometimes the comments be kind of crazy. A lot of spam be hitting my comment box. So I took the comments off. But there's a lot of nice magazines. A lot of nice articles on sportssavvymagazine.com. Please check us out. We work hard to try to give you guys some content. And with that, I'm out.